Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm back, and I wanted to discuss transparency today. I really wanted to talk about the responsibility of transparency, and what brought that about was lately, I had been feeling as though I had to be reminiscent of my flaws as some sort of subliminal apology for my growth. And I thought I was doing a pretty good job of being transparent. And I had went through a period where I felt like I wasn't transparent enough. So I was trying to be a little more transparent, but then it didn't feel natural. Then I felt like I was being too transparent. And then, people start to judge. And then I was like, all right, I'm at a place where I love who I've become, who I'm becoming, who I'm still evolving into. And if I want to be transparent, I can. However, I don't feel as though people are equipped to handle the responsibility of one's truth. I don't think that people are ready to handle, 100% transparency. I think there's also some sort of catch-22. Like, for example, you know how when you run into someone and they say, hey, how are you? And they keep walking because they low-key kind of don't want you to say anything else, but I'm good. What's up? If you had stopped them and be like, you know what? Hey, come here. You know what? You asked me how I'm doing and I'm really not doing too good. I'm not doing okay. And then watch them stand there like, oh, I hope things get better, because they don't know what to say. Because they're not ready. They're not prepared. It is a responsibility to handle, an answer that you get that you didn't expect to get from someone who's ready to be transparent. And transparency is not always something for y'all. Transparency is something for me. I'm going to speak from my point of, from me. Transparency is a sort of strength that I have. So if I can talk about it and I can share it, then that means I've drawn the strength from whatever test that is that I went through, or whatever trial it is that I just came out of. On my journey, you know what I mean? Transparency is strength. Not everybody understands how strong you have to be in order to share what you've been through, what you're going through, or what you could go through. People who are challenged, who have mental health challenges, sometimes they're afraid to be transparent because of the reactions that they would get, because people are not ready to accept that transparency. And I'm not talking about, if someone wants to vent to you and you don't have the energy and you're drained and you can't take on anybody else's shit right now. I know what that feels like. Don't answer the phone. You can say, hey, I'm not really in a good headspace right now to help anybody. And it's okay. Don't apologize for that. I'm glad that some people can recognize that. I've been helping a few people out with recognizing when their energy is up and down, when they can help and when they can't. It's okay. Take care of your mental health first. But on the other side, there are just some people who just don't care, don't understand, don't have that emotional intelligence. They're not equipped with that. And emotional intelligence is like the professional corporate way of saying spirit of discernment, intuition, listening to your spirit, listening to your gut, feeling that vibe. That's basically what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence is hearing beyond the words that are being said. Hearing that transparency without that person being transparent. And not everybody is gifted with that, and that's okay. But back to being transparent, I can list off in chronological order everything that I've ever been through since I left my parents' house. And that still wouldn't be enough for some of y'all. I can tell you right now, this house that I'm living in, I don't own it. The truck that I'm driving is a '08, but that bitch is paid off. I drive 2 hours one way to school on I-4, one of the most dangerous interstates in the country. I drive 2 hours one way just to go to campus because my GPA started with a 0 and they were willing to let me start over. Y'all hear me? My GPA started with a 0. Settle, 0. That's what it started with. So I drive 2 hours one way to get through this degree. Almost 70 credits in under 15 months. It was some days I didn't have the gas to go, so I would skip class. And then I thought I was going to fail the class from skipping so many classes because I didn't have the gas to go. That's transparency. That's not me being negative. That's not me having a pity party. That's good old fashioned truth. You know what I mean? So sometimes transparency is mistaken for complaining. and negativity and being pessimistic. That's not what it is. Sometimes people are just sharing what they're going through or what they've been through. That's not them asking for any handouts or asking for anybody to like throw this big ass pity party. That's not what that is. People are just not ready for the full, flat on, no filter transparency. People don't want raw, unfiltered truth. They want raw dick, but they don't want raw truth. And that I just never understood that. Like, we scream 100 and everybody keep it real. LeBron wrote a letter to his wife or publicly apologized to his wife, and y'all calling him real and he a real man and he 100 and he open and honest. But somebody decides to be transparent and open and honest, and you telling them they need to, girl, why you telling all your business? Oh, well, I thought y'all wanted honesty. I thought y'all wanted truth. I thought y'all wanted people to be transparent with y'all, because we're human. We're all going through this life together. So you don't want to know about my struggle. You don't want to hear that. Y'all like that graduation picture, but how many of you would have liked if I said, yeah, man, shit, I think I'm about to go on welfare for 6 months. Shit getting rough. How many would inbox if I said, man, I'm failing this math class. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't graduate. How many would inbox and be like, hey, I'm good with this subject. What you need? I got you. Without wanting public recognition. Sometimes transparency is not about public recognition. That's not what it's about. Transparency to me is more so about strength. And the person who's being transparent, it's about them displaying a spirit of strength, in my opinion. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about being transparent and the responsibility of transparency. Once you accept who you are and the person you're becoming and the journey you're on and the evolution that has taken place, it's much easier to be transparent. I have nothing to hide. If it's something you want to know, all you have to do is ask me. If I feel like it wouldn't help you, then you may not find out. But I've never had a problem with sharing what I've been through. It's never about, wanting the attention. It's always been about, once I get through this, I have the strength to talk about it. You hear people say, oh, there's no testimony without a test, or however the little thing goes. And that's basically what transparency is. So once you get to that point where you're able to be truthful and honest about who you are and what you're going through, it's much, much easier. To me, your life, your journey will be much, much easier. But for those who are unable to handle that transparency, don't ask for it if you can't handle it. And if you don't know you can't handle it, somebody should tell you. But if you're unable, if you're ill-equipped to handle the responsibility of someone's truth, then don't ask them to be honest, because all that does is just kind of create a rift emotionally and spiritually and psychologically. But that's all I have for today. Peace.